Welcome back. We're now going to look at hard drives in a bit more detail. So when we looked inside the computer earlier in the section, we had a hard disk drive. Now there are different types of hard drive. We've got the hard disk drive, the HDD, which is an older technology, and then we have a solid state drive, an SSD, which is a much newer technology. Now one of the key differences is you can see this one, and we're actually looking inside. So imagine that this has been opened up and you're looking inside the hard drive. This is what you would see. Now firstly, there's a spinning disk. This is called a platter. And then you have this reader with a head on the end. And what that can do is it moves across and finds and locates the data. Now, because it's got moving parts, it's subject to some performance issues. So firstly, when you need to find data, now, by the way, it doesn't work like a record player. If you remember an old-fashioned record player, you start at the outside and then it starts moving inwards. But it doesn't work like that. The data could be stored anywhere, and the reader needs to find that data. So it has to move very quickly across the platter to find wherever that data might be. And this needs to spin at certain speeds to, improve the performance. However, it's not the best performing technology. The solid state drive is very different. It doesn't have any moving parts. It's more like a memory chip, more like the random access memory. It's called flash memory. So essentially it's a chip. So there's no moving parts, there's no spinning platters, there's no head or seeker that needs to move around and find the data. So with a hard disk drive, this is also known as a magnetic drive because it actually uses magnetism to store the data. It's a much older technology, and it's a lot slower than an SSD. But it's also much cheaper than an SSD. So for certain use cases, this is still a good way to store your data. Now, on the other hand, the solid state drive uses flash memory, so there's no moving parts. It's a much newer technology, and it can be an awful lot faster than a hard disk drive. It can be thousands of times faster than a hard disk drive. So for many use cases, the performance of an SSD may well be a good reason to pay that extra money. And it can be quite a lot more expensive. So they can be significantly more expensive than a hard disk drive. So as always, as architects, we're always looking to try and find, what do we need for a particular use case? For this particular service, do I need to spend money on a solid state drive because I need the performance? Or do I need to store a lot of data, for instance, and I don't really need that much performance, so maybe I can choose a hard disk drive instead. So that's just to help you understand the key differences between these two different types of drive technology.